Hello, BookTube. Welcome back to Poetry Thursday. And yes, I've got my big anthology, of course. And yes, I'm going to keep reading you some Banjo Paterson because I started last week and I was like, oh my god, I need to do more of him. But anyway, he is the boss's wife. So we'll see what this one's about. The warm winds crossed from the eastern coast, grew hot through the mountain passes, and picked up the breath of the burning plains and touched on the station's grasses. And the grasses shriveled all in dry and brown and shrunk to dusty grey. And the broken earth cracked with the fiery drought came down on the land to stay. The waters in on the homestead holes sank down in the blue clay rim, and the ibes came with their circling flocks to feast on the bony bream. 'Twas shift all stock and the breeders run with never the slightest doubt. For the station's bosses 'twas a local loss if the breeders' runt gave out. And the boss must wrestle and scheme and toil and stick to the uphill job and battle it out with the fiery drought for the sake of the starving mob. And at night he'd go to the stockman's hut for word the day's work's done, and he'd stay for a smoke or a yawn and a joke, and talk of the outside run. And it seemed somehow that the boss's wife, a deep and ranking slight, and his plans were made with outside aid when it came to an uphill fight. And at nights when he'd gone, she'd sit and watch in the loneliest contemplation of the lot and the life of starvation wife and the ways of an outback station. And she'd gaze at the stockman's hust below and across the servant's light, and she'd wait and brood with a doleful mood that comes with the silent night. And out of the darkness a notion grew, a dim little gleaming dart. It grew and flashed like a fiery sword and stuck at the wifely heart. 'Twas a notion found on logic's rights, a womanly intuition by the housemaid's light when it sank at night, and a shadowy appreciation. She gave no sign, but she watched each night till till there was much room for doubt, and she trimmed when the boss came in that night from the time that the lights went out. And she hid the hurt when the woman's skill, and she studied the housemaid's lighting. To be betrayed for an artless maid, 'twas time up for the fighting. And the boss was gone, and the stockman's hut, she lost no time in the going. With a friendly smile and a bit of a guile, would the maid come and help with the sewing. And the maid agreed with a really nod. She'd nothing much to do. She went with a smile and fell for a pile would last for an hour or two. And the wife, when the work was well in swing, slipped off the housemaid's room, and safe in the camp she blew the lamp and waited there in the gloom, till the footsteps soft and dark on the beaten track turned in the darkened door, with a scrap and a rap and the slightest trap, for he'd been there oft before. She spoke no word in the darkened room, no change in the form betrayed, nor the greeting kiss of a meeting miss. 'Twas much as the melting maid. 'Twas a woman's style and wifely wile to play the maid of the quarters. She played with skill and strength of will, and the guile of Eve's own daughters. She played, and sudden she flashed the torch. One horrified glance he took. She dropped the light, and she fainted quite. 'Twas Chin-Chi and Chinese cook. And that's your Poetry Thursday for today. So thank you so much for watching BookTube, and I will see you next time.